Hi guys, it's album anniversary time and today I want to talk about Bon Jovi's self-titled album that celebrates his 40th anniversary this year, now in January. And this is an album that almost never got made. In this video I'm going to tell you about the background of this album and some facts that you probably did not know, including the start of the Skid Row connection, how the E Street Band was involved in this album, and a drummer from Bryan Adams. So this album was released in January 1984 on Mercury Records, but the story goes much further back and it's not a straightforward path to glory. Jon Bon Jovi had been in a lot of local bands, but he hadn't really had any success yet. He had an uncle though that owned a studio called the Power Station in Manhattan, and there he could record a demo of a song called Runaway. We can hear that demo here.
1, 2, 3, 4. On the street where you live, girls talk about their social lives. You're made of lipstick, plastic, and paint. A touch of sable in their eyes. And no one heard a single word you said. They should have seen it in your eyes. What was going down your head? Ooh, she's a little runaway. Daddy's girl and fast. Now she works the night away.
So this demo was recorded first in 1981 and then he recorded another version of it in 1982 that he sent to a lot of labels. Everybody said no, but he didn't give up. He kept on going and finally the song was included on a compilations album issued by a local radio station in the area and started getting airplay. He eventually got signed by Mercury. The problem was that Jon Bon Jovi didn't have a band back then. There was no Richie Sambora, there was no Tico Torres. He had been playing with a studio band from the Power Station studio, a studio band that consisted of a guy from the E Street Band, that is Bruce Springsteen's band, called Roy Bittan. And he actually wrote the intro, the piano intro, or the keyboard intro to Runaway. He had a drummer that ended up playing with Bryan Adams, a bass player called Hugh McDonald that actually would become a member of Bon Jovi later in 1994, I think that was. And then Tim Pierce, who was a session guitarist that has worked with artists like Joe Cocker, Roger Waters, and Alice Cooper. So when he got signed, he actually had to go out and start a band. And he, at that time, had Dave Sabo that would start Skid Row later on as a guitar player, but he dropped him, hired got Richie Sambora on board and Tico Torres on the drums, and Alec John Suggs and David Rasbaum on bass and keyboards. But they did not play on that song, Runaway, that was the hit song from this album and the song that kind of got him signed. That was actually the studio band. So during 1982 and 1983, the band went into the studio and wrote and recorded the remaining 8 tracks of the album, apart from one track that was written by somebody else. That's called a song called She Don't Know Me. So the standout tracks that gained some recognition from this album are obviously Runaway, that was the lead single and kind of got the band signed, Roulette, Love Lies, and then a song called Shot Through the Heart that was to play a part in the creation of You Give Love a Bad Name from their major album Slippery When Wet that came out I think 3-4 years later. They wrote that song with Desmond Child and he explained that when he came down to the basement he had a song title in his back pocket called You Give Love a Bad Name. He liked that title, and then the guys in Bon Jovi said to him, well, Shot Through the Heart, you're to blame. And then all 3 of them said, You Give Love a Bad Name. And that's how that song came around. The album performed quite well at the time. They peaked at the 43rd place on the US Billboard 200 and they sold 2 million copies in the US alone, like a double platinum, which is quite good for a new band. And to celebrate the anniversary now, they made a new version, 40th anniversary version, that is available on Spotify with a lot of demos of Runaway, live versions of Runaway, extended versions of Runaway, and a few other songs as well. And it's interesting to think about how close this was from not happening at all. If this guy would have given up, we might never have had this band. Who knows? Tell me what you think about this album. I would also be very happy if you would like and subscribe to this. And then I just made a video here about up and coming bands that I think are gonna break big this year and could be interesting for you. Or you could be interested in my Can't Find the Breaks, Dirty Honey album review that came out late last year. That's a band that is kind of in the same category like Bon Jovi. See you there.